Have you ever wondered how traditional cider is really made? I'm here at the Cider Pantry to investigate how a family business has grown to produce some of the best local cider in the New Forest. Barry Top started his family business after being made redundant in 1986. After his stepfather died, he took over the holding and developed his love for cider. He takes us through the step-by-step process of how cider is really made.
The apples come in big bags. They're emptied into the hopper. Traditionally, apples mechanically get picked up off the ground. With the end of the season, there's quite a high number of leaves that get picked up with it. The apples then drop into a drum mill, and the rotor pushes the apples to a screen, which will literally slice the apples up into a pulp. And when John requires more pulp, it literally pumps the pulp up to the Good Nature squeeze box press and fills the bags. The juice that drops down into the tray is pumped into a holding tank, and then once that's filled, there's another pump which will transfer it straight into the fermentation vats over this side.
John Tutt began working alongside his dad on the farm 15 years ago, producing traditional apple cider. His expertise and knowledge provides an understanding of the cider making process.
The process of dry cider, it all comes out as dry. So it all comes out as apple juice, then it comes out, ferments over the 3 months period, then it will end up as dry. To make it sweet, medium or dry, in the barrels we add a sweetener, sucralose, and basically we add the right amount to make it whatever, sweet, medium or dry. On the CWJ side of it, we add enzymes into it to strip the nutrients, because the yeast needs the nutrients to convert all the sugars into alcohol.
The cider produced at the New Forest Pantry is of a higher alcohol percentage because of how it's traditionally produced. John talks us through the process of how they measure the percentage of the cider.
So basically we do a gravity test. We know roughly this juice is about 1,055. Then we watch it as it comes down. When it gets to 1,000, we do another little sample and we check against a graft, and it can roughly tell you what the alcohol content is. We're allowed to have a percentage either way. A true alcohol content is where you do a little bit of distilling, so you get exactly what alcohol.
Barry's daughter Sally takes on the responsibilities of managing the cider shop, which is found on the same grounds where the cider is made. The shop sells a variety of products to local customers and visitors every day.
I'm Barry and Sue's daughter, and they started up the company in the 80s, and I joined them in the early 90s when I got back from travelling in Australia. And since then, my brother and sister have also joined the company, and it's grown since then. It's started with Dad travelling around the country at steam fairs every weekend, whereas now we more concentrate on the retail, the borough market stand and our tea rooms here. In the shop we sell our own ciders, which are made in a variety of different ways, as well as country wines, local beers, cider brandy, anything apple related, and handmade pottery.
And your chutneys and stuff like that, they're local? And
they're a mixture. Most of the ones we sell are locally made by a guy who just works on his own in his kitchen making the chutneys, which we also sell in our tea rooms as well. Well, we hope to be able to do our bottling on site, or if not more locally, so that we can expand our product range. And also we'd like to expand our wholesale for our apple juice to get it to a wider audience.
The cider produced on the farm uses local apples from orchards located in Somerset. These apples are what gives Barry cider a distinct and recognisable flavour.
You called it traditional cider. Now, from a marketing perspective, there's varying forms. Traditional cider is also called real cider, which means really it's a very high percentage of juice. In the trade, there's been a great argument from us small cider makers, because we feel the commercial end of the market, the public are being hoodwinked. They don't realise that if it was subject to food ingredient labelling from the Food Standards Agency as a beverage, the first ingredient would be identified as water. You've seen where we're pressing, that juice is literally an apple version of wine, like from grapes. So it's in its primary fermentation phase now, and which really lasts until it starts to drop to clear in the vats till about the end of January, beginning of February. This was a family holding, and my stepfather died, and I came back. You can tell by my accent it's West Country, and I got a liking for cider in the West Country. So the Western Gazette weekly newspaper from Yeovil, in the small ads on the agricultural side, there was a commercial press for sale. So I took a chance and bought it. We starting from nothing, if you can understand what I mean. So of course, from the sales and marketing point of view, I knew I had to create an image. I tried to get in local shows. It took some time to get into the New Forest show, but we did. I used to take it all over the country. I used to go, the farthest I used to go was Lincoln, up in Lincolnshire. Yeah. And I used to do the agricultural show and the steam fair on the ground there, and then quite by accident, the organiser of the Lincoln Christmas Market came, which was really the pioneer Christmas market in this country, a German style. It was run by the Twinning Association.
Since we've learnt so much about cider today, I thought I'd see what all the fuss is about. So Sally has set me up with 2 ciders, one of New Forest cider and one supermarket cider, and see if I can tell the difference between the both of them after everything I've learned today. So here we go. Okay, they've got 2 completely different tastes about them. The first one's a lot more fizzy and sparkling, and the other one is farmhouse, a bit rough, a bit scrumpy cider. Personally, I would choose this one. They say you shouldn't work with your family, but today has proven by working as a family, you can have a successful business, and a successful business for many years to come.